Bangladesh and Myanmar have agreed on a time frame to complete the return of Rohingya refugees within 2 years. More than 650,000 have fled persecution by Myanmar's military, telling horrifying stories of systematic rape and murder. Canada, the US, and the United Nations have called it ethnic cleansing. As part of the deal, Bangladesh and Myanmar are setting up transit camps. The plan is to send some 1,500 Rohingya back every week. The UN is concerned about forcibly repatriating refugees, saying they should be able to return voluntarily when they feel safe. Farid Khan is with the Rohingya Human Rights Network and joins us now. Mr. Khan, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
What do you make of this plan to repatriate?
Well, frankly, it's very disturbing, and it's a danger to the lives of the Rohingya who will be returned to Myanmar, to the very people who have been persecuting and killing them.
Why do you think this is happening now, and how do you think they arrived at this kind of a deal, and even coming down to details about how many numbers per day?
Well, I don't know how they came about with the number, but there was an agreement signed back in November between Myanmar and Bangladesh, and it should be noted that that agreement was reached without the involvement of the international community or the United Nations. The United Nations indicated at that time that it was very concerned about this agreement. And this is a repetition of what's happened in the past, where in previous instances where the Rohingya have been attacked by the military, the Myanmar military, they have fled to Bangladesh. There's been an agreement signed between the two nations to repatriate them. And those Rohingya who were returned were not returned to their homes, which were destroyed. They were in fact returned and put into internal, what were called internal displaced peoples camps, essentially concentration camps where every aspect of their lives was controlled by the Myanmar government and the military, where there were armed guards, and where, if you can believe it, they even had to get permission from the government on who they could marry.
What are you hearing about the situation in Myanmar? I mean, have we seen any sign of improvement from what we've heard of have been horrific circumstances?
Actually, no, there's no indication that there's been any improvement. In fact, reporters and aid workers and human rights workers who have been in the Bangladeshi refugee camps, who have spoken to Rohingya refugees, when asked about this, many of them said, we would rather die here in Bangladesh than have to return to what we had to face at the hands of the Myanmar military. This is a situation that Canada and the international community should be intervening in, because if they don't, then what will happen is that the Rohingya will be repatriated, and they will face the exact same thing that they were facing previously. It would be like asking Jews who escaped Nazi Germany before World War II to return to Germany under the Nazis. It's the exact same sort of situation that the Rohingya are facing, and it's frankly unfathomable why the international community is not intervening in this, given the fact that we have solid evidence of not only villages being destroyed, but people being killed in the most brutal manner, women being gang raped, and children being killed. So the fact that Canada has not taken any concrete action on the political front with respect to this is very disturbing, and the fact that the international community is basically sitting and waiting puts a lie to makes a lie of statements that they believe in international human rights and protection of lives, because by allowing this to take place, they are returning these people to the very people who have brutalized them in the past.
From the Rohingya Human Rights Network, Farid Khan joining us in Ottawa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.